Hello. I don't need to make these engaging. I just need to throw my thoughts out there. Uh, I am exhausted. I am exhausted. Started last week Monday. It is Monday today, so exactly 1 week ago. Uh, and so far, I have completed 5 files, and uh, I have 10 files that I need to complete in total. I was only able to finish 3 on Saturday, and I didn't even fully finish the third one. I only fully finished 2. So it took me an entire day to finish 2 files, basically. So, uh, one good thing at least is that I have Wednesday to um, to do some more files. I just got the whole day off, literally just to do the files. But it feels like I haven't gotten a real break because I guess that maybe I just have whiplash, or I just need to build my working muscles or something along those lines. But uh, I've I was working basically all of Saturday. Sunday had church, and then you know took a lot of the day off, kind of, and then played D&D. But as a DM, you're kind of constantly on, and we played for a long time. That was probably a big mistake, because we were up till 1:30 or so. uh, yeah, so I got up, went to work, took my pictures, did all this stuff, and when I got back home, I crashed on the couch for 3 hours. And then when I woke up, I tried to do some work, but I don't know, I guess I felt overwhelmed. I just finished the third file, literally just started the fifth file, and, well, okay, no. I finished the file 5 and started file 6, and now I just was kind of overwhelmed. Didn't end up doing too much work. I tried doing the Pomodoro technique on Saturday in order to keep my productivity up. And I guess just the fact that it takes me so long to problem solve in these files. You're constantly running into different little bugs. You're losing track of this thing and that thing, and because I'm new to the process, I keep making mistakes that I have to undo, and it's just exhausting. It's honestly just exhausting, especially given the fact that every single house is different. Every single house has different windows, has different settings that I have to do every single time. Yeah. So here I am complaining. In terms of accountability, I haven't. It's nice. It's nice that I don't have to worry as much about that anymore. It's not something that's constantly on my mind, constantly on my, conscience and stuff. Oh, I guess I'm doing this rather than getting anything done now. But now I've sort of, you know, gone. If you fall down to, let's say, pornography is all the way down, I've gone sort of a few steps up, and YouTube videos is what takes up most of my time when I'm not working. Uh, and yeah, it's it's something. I mean, I need to do something in order to relax. I mean, if we were to go all the steps up to the perfect person, they'd be spending that time, like, reading the Bible and, getting to know God and praying and all that sort of stuff. And uh, that's a nice goal to have, uh, which I definitely wouldn't be able to do of my own strength. But Lord help me. I've been saying that a lot. Lord help me. This is. I'm tired. This is beyond me right now. Lord help me. Yeah. Um, On to a different topic. Uh, so, the topic of Sunday's sermon was effectively family and combating loneliness, especially given this time of COVID, and how we're now sort of entering into this time where we're wanting to reconnect, both in person because we're going to be in person in PA in a few weeks, but also just try to connect with new people, which is great. It's nice to have in mind, and the what was shared for most of the time on Sunday was Pastor David Damien, Papa David Damien. He was talking about how he, has this relationship with his kids where they know each other, but they don't really deeply know each other, especially since he's always gone on different work trips, effectively. And during this time of COVID, he's been sort of having this time of reconciliation and relationship building, which has been great for him. And one question that was posed basically was, who do you have? Who do you have around you that you can consider as your as someone you can share anything with? And I suppose for me, that would probably be Jesse and Daniel. That I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's just me looking to fill a gap that should be filled by God, or if this is just some sort of a innate human desire, or if I just have a an even more strong desire in this direction than other people. I feel like a lot of people have this, but I'm still feeling very lonely. And I just want to be in a long-term relationship with a girl that I can spend the rest of my life with, and that we'd be stuck together so that we can share everything with each other and and just not have to worry about um, them rotating out. I know desperation's not the most attractive quality. I've been trying not to be. And then I'm quite young. I'm 21. got a lot of time ahead of me to find someone, and sure, there's plenty of people out there, but I don't think too many that would be right for me. And it, yeah, maybe this is just the fact that I'm living alone kind of for the first time in my life, but it's difficult just working all the time and working so hard for the future, and at the same time it's understandable that God wouldn't want me to be in a relationship right now, because I do have to focus on my work in order to catch up and become powerful in that. It's difficult. It's difficult. Seems like these vlogs always come back to this topic at some point, because I guess it's intrinsically linked to my accountability. Maybe the fact that maybe it's sort of the testosterone that I'm not dumping into the toilet every day that is catching up to me or something like that. I guess this is part of the reason why it's difficult, why it's so hard to, stay accountable, to stay clean, because it's just so hard being just sitting in the space of being super duper single. Very, very single. I'm sure a lot of my guy friends deal with this. Never really hear them talk about it, but like, who does want to talk about this stuff? I'm like a freak of nature that I actively seek to talk about these things. It's no wonder that people don't know how to deal with talking with me sometimes once I go down these rabbit holes. I think a lot, and I just watched a video about traits of highly intelligent people, and well, one of them is that you take a long time before you say anything. You think things through deeply before you say anything, which is like, that's a biblical thing, not only an intelligent thing. That's like, that's something that's said in Proverbs and in James. You don't want to say too much, and because you can't really take back your words, it's very difficult to pull them back once they're out there. And I'm sure I've made some mistakes in these vlogs. I've said some things that I probably should have worded differently, but c'est la vie. Another thing is like, it's weird. It's really weird me saying, "Hey, oh man, I can relate so much with having intelligence issues. Oh man, guys, how relatable. I'm so highly intelligent. Oh, you plebeians who aren't intelligent. Oh, you don't deal with the same problems that I do. Oh." It's it's hard. I find it hard to talk about my good qualities because it just feels like I'm bragging. That's why I guess I gravitate towards talking about my flaws. It's so weird and counterintuitive. And even then, like, I talk about a flaw and it's like, it feels like a subtle flex because it's something that's generally seen as a good trait. Yeah. I guess there's just, it's the problem with communication in general. When you're trying to improve yourself and you're succeeding, but you're like suffering from that success, it's hard to complain about that without sounding so douchey. Maybe I just shouldn't complain, but at the same time, I need to talk with people. I need to have solace with people in order to go through life and not be so alone and not be so like burdened by these difficulties and troubles that I'm dealing with without, being able to talk about it without sounding like a douchebag. Oh man, look at me. I'm having such difficulties talking about my problems. Oh, I'm so privileged. That I can live on my own and I can. Oh, humanity. Every pro comes with its own set of cons. Every con comes with its own set of pros. And sometimes even the things that you perceive as cons are pros, and the things you perceive as pros are cons. Anything that has to do with sin, it's just a whole big set of cons with maybe one very short term pro. Just about anything that has to do with living a righteous life is just a big old set of pros, with the con of it being very long term. Uh, and the other con of it being suffering in the meantime. Sometimes I wonder why I should struggle in this way of, like, you know, why it's obvious as in Ecclesiastes, Solomon's like, I see that wisdom is better than foolishness, just like how light is better than darkness. And that's a very obvious, like, you look at that and you know that it's true, but it's hard to quantify it. It's hard to quantifiably say why. You can say all sorts of different like things that you could think of as being productive or a pro, but in reality, uh, we're all sort of striving after the wind. We're all chasing after that next horizon, and suffering in the today's work, and at the same time to neglect responsibilities, simply storing up troubles for later. And so really, what are we doing? We are taking on more trouble now in order to have less trouble in the future. But then in the future, we take on more trouble again in order to have less trouble. And we're going from higher to higher things and greater to greater things, from glory to glory, from strength to strength. And it's difficult, and it's tiresome, and it's impossible without him. Maybe that's why it was structured this way, in order to funnel us towards him, because we can't do it ourselves. But it does make sense that it's better to have one handful with peace than two handfuls with toil and suffering. You accumulate more and more just for what? For your children who might not even be worthy of it at all. They might just squander your wealth. You store up this wealth. You improve yourself in order to attract someone who, might be great for a few days, might be great for a year. You might love each other for a while, and then they might just never love you again for the rest of their lives. They might grow to hate and despise you for your flaws and never look at your positive traits at all for the rest of the 50 or 60 years that you spend together. You might drive yourself into the corner of a building just to get away from the screaming and nagging. And I think, is this worth it? Of course it should be. It makes sense that it would be. Quantifiably, it's difficult to say that it would be. But that's thinking from the purely rational side of my brain. On the other side, there is something about selflessness, and selflessness is the word, because you're benefiting greatly from doing this. But from the emptying of yourself and of the complete sacrifice of self in order to gain that which is greater, in order to take on the treasure that is worth much more, take on his spirit, to give him the glory for all that you live for. Something about that just draws you in. Same reason why, I don't know why it's well, there's plenty of attempts at explanation, but none that are sufficient to describe why I have this desire inside of me to just give of myself to someone, to a girl that I hope would love me back, to my kids who I hope can live the greatest life that they can live on this green earth. Something about that. It's deeper than attraction. It's deeper than longing. It's like purpose. Maybe that's it. Yeah, purpose. Yeah. It's not about me, and about how I benefit or gain from it. It's about what I'm here for. I'm here to give him all of the glory, to show of his abundance, and also to love and dote on whoever it is that might be my future wife, to to love and sacrifice for my brothers in arms, to cherish and hold and pour the blessings upon my children, like my Father above has poured onto me. To be a true brother to my brothers and sisters, to be a true father, a true husband, to be faithful, constant, to be a reflection of Christ, to be part of the bride. Purpose. That feels about right. Because, desires, longings, that's all well and good. That can only take you too far before it fades. But purpose, I suppose that can take you a lifetime. You can never reach the end of that. Okay. I think that's it. I quoted a lot of Proverbs and Ecclesiastes there, sort of indirectly. Um, but I suppose I'll find it either one of the Proverbs or Ecclesiastes that I quoted, and or something else entirely, and put it down below. I'll see you guys at some point. These have not been super daily, but uh, I think I'll still keep it calling it daily, just to sort of put that pressure on myself so that I'll keep uploading these at least like maybe bi-weekly or something like that. But they'll still be called daily, so that if I called it bi-weekly, then it would be like once every other week. No. Twice. Okay, what I mean by meant initially by bi-weekly was twice a week, but if I called it bi-weekly, if I called it like the twice a week accountability vlog, first of all, that's a really lame name, but second of all, it would probably become bi-weekly, so once every other week. And if I called it the bi-weekly accountability vlog, it would be a once a month accountability vlog. So I'm going to call it the daily accountability vlog so that at least it comes out twice a week. There we go. So, proverb down below, and I will see you probably not tomorrow, but I'll say tomorrow.